My final project is on the effects of education, income, and intergenerational mobility, and its effects on the self-esteem. I have 4 hypotheses. My first hypothesis is that educational attainment will yield higher self-esteem. Second hypothesis is that increased income correlates with higher self-esteem measures. And upward intergenerational, hypothesis 3 is upward intergenerational mobility will also increase self-esteem measures. The fourth hypothesis is that these 3 variables together combine to create a greater effect or higher correlation with a higher yield on self-esteem measures. For participants, I had 88 people sign up. 1 did not participate, so therefore they were excluded in the survey results. To recruit my participants, I shared on Facebook a survey off of Google, and my friends also shared that, and so this is where I recruited my participants. The average range in participants was a median of 3.98, with a measure of 4 being ages 45 to 54, with a standard deviation of 1.585, with a approximate 10-year measure, meaning that that's a plus or minus 15 years there approximately. My measure paradigm involved questions about educational attainment of the individual, such as no high school equivalent, associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, EDS, and doctorate degree. Those same questions were asked regarding parental educational attainment. A following variable was income level. Income level was measured in gradients such as 0 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 45,000, 45,000 to 60,000, 60 to 80, and 80 to 100, and then 100 plus. To measure self-esteem, we used a 10-point questionnaire of the Rosenberg self-esteem scale. Such questions were, all in all, I am inclined to feel that I am a failure. Another example of a question was, on the whole, I am satisfied with myself. So these questions were answered with a numerical value of 0, 1, 2, or 3. These were asked in labels such as strongly agree, agree, disagree, and strongly disagree, with a number being correlated with each of those numbers, and they were either correlated in a positive direction or a negative direction, or quantity, going from 0 to 1 or 3 to 0, depending upon the inclination of the question. So my results were that I used the Pearson measure. For the higher than parents self-esteem, I got a measure of P equals 0.2. So obviously there's not a significant difference in self-esteem measure of people who attained a higher education level than just the parents. When it came to education level and I got a 0.04 on the self-esteem when it came to education and annual income, also I got a .00. So some of these measures indicated a significant difference in educational attainment, annual income, and for transgenerational mobility, upward mobility, I used the measure of how did one's income, education attainment compare to that of parents, and so that was my measure for that, and for each of these measures, some of them I've got a significant difference, others I did not. And then when you combine these together, as you can see in the graphs below, that there was a significant difference when you looked at the three factors together. So when a person did experience upward transgenerational mobility, that person combined with the person that had an increased income compared to the rest of the population, and when that individual attained higher education, such as a doctoral degree, there was a significant difference compared to the counterparts. I say that, and I say that with much reservation, because according to the graphs, for some reason, the associate's degree, EDS degree, and bachelor degree, there seemed to be a drop in self-esteem. So according to my research, there was kind of a evening out, and then a dropping, and then a very sharp increase. So because of this, I did fail to reject the null hypothesis on all of my points. So there appears to be, at least in the doctoral level, a significant difference in individuals who attain a higher education level. There seems to be a significant difference in those that experience an increase in income compared to those of their counterparts, and there seems to be an increase in self-esteem of those who achieve upper transgenerational mobility. So for future direction, I have a problem with my results because I really don't think that they're a good measure of a general population. I would literally throw this out and redo it if I had time and opportunity, because the number of participants I had in this upper educational level of attainment were not adequate to be indicative of a general population. So I can't really say that yes, my research did find actually what I was looking for, due to the fact that there were so few people in the upper education level that I don't think it's a fair measure of a general population that you could just give a few people that measure to transpose onto a larger group of people. Whereas my other measures, such as no high school, some college, and high school equivalent or associate's degree, all of those, well, the associate's degree and some college, I had a larger participation base to measure the general population on. Another problem with my research is I did not look for the variable of lifespan and income level. as a variable in my study. And I find this to be problematic in the fact that there's research that's been done that is indicative of self-esteem measure being increased over the course of a lifespan, and this measure has a tendency at some point when an individual gets older to drop off. But so with that in mind, and that correlating with the fact that individuals tend to have an increase in income over the course of lifespan until they reach a certain age, which is retirement, then the income drops off. So because of that, there's possibility that my measure could be a result of just that fact. And so I cannot take this as factual based upon those scenarios. So I would have to do more research to see if that actually was what I was finding in my study, rather than transgenerational mobility, income level, and educational attainment as the self-esteem measures. Additionally, so that's pretty much. The other thing that I kind of was wondering in regards to my to the graphs and the drop in educational level of attainment in self-esteem measure was, I was curious as a result of what I'm seeing on my graphs, if that drop is a result of the fact that those who did get a high school diploma or did get an associate's degree or did go to college, that they didn't set themselves up with massive student loan debt. They didn't set themselves up with the expectation of, I'm going to college, and when I finish college, then I'm going to be able to get me a job, a higher paying job. And so so seeing the drop in those who attained a bachelor's, a master's, and an MDS degree, seeing that drop in the self-esteem measure makes me wonder and want to do more research in the line of, is there a decreased measure in self-esteem, such as one's value on being satisfied with self, because here they've gone through all the work of going to college, completing their degree, and now they find themselves in a situation where they have massive debt, and in addition to the massive debt that they have, they're not making the money they thought they would make. So I find that with this study, it brings open the new question of, are people dissatisfied with themselves after they've got their degree because of maybe unanticipated frustrations, unanticipated fulfillment of self, and with their degree. So anyway, so that's and also noticed a drop in income level of those same individuals. So that's something else to look into, and regarding self-esteem. Thank you, and I hope that you found your time worthful, and look forward to looking at the poster in more detail so that you can evaluate my survey. So thank you.